back class 11 in our virtual online class. So I will be discussing with a new topic, that is political economy and its scope. So basically it's the scope related to chapter 1, which we are dealing since many classes. So this is the last scope that we will be discussing about contemporary political science. So let's understand what is political economy. Okay, so political economy studies the economic environment and compulsion of politics. So economic environment, the environment, it's totally related to trade. It's totally related to how different countries performs. So what are their relationships that they share between each other, etc., and how these narratives of economic environment that will create a viable option for doing a politics. Okay, so political economy concentrates on the study of economic roots and factor of politics. So these are the key words. You just need to understand these keywords only. Okay, but basically this political economy is a different dimension, like different subject of political science. As you grow or as you proceed further your higher studies, you will find a different subject regarding each scope that I have been discussing since many past classes. So traditional meaning, it is that branch of the art of government which is concerned with systematic inquiry into the nature and the cause of wealth of nation. So what does this political economy deals with? It talks about traditionally means the old meaning, old narratives of what political economy means. Traditionally it means that it is a political economy is a systematic inquiry of what is the nature of the wealth, or what are the causes of the wealth of nation. So this wealth of nation is like a deep concepts. Without understanding the wealth of nation, it's impossible to understand what is political economy. So wealth of nation is a magnus opus, means magnificent, of Adam Smith. Adam Smith is a political economy. He is considered as an economist, where he defined this political economy is the one of the most important concepts, or in the field of political science. Where Adam Smith, he made 5 books, like in his work, this wealth of nation. The wealth of nation is divided into 5 books, and it focuses upon the state of economics during the Industrial Revolution, and even today it has a greater influences on the economic policies of the world. So these things are not there in your book. I have added it extra because without understanding wealth of nation, it's difficult to understand political economy. And there are so much of philosophers are there. Karl Marx is there, without which it's very complicated to understand the political economy. So according to Adam Smith, the book is divided into 5 categories, and it totally discusses about this economic, how was the economic conditions at the Industrial Revolution period, and even today in 21st century or in contemporary times, how this wealth of nation has greater influences on developing new economic policies of the world. So the main idea of wealth of nation is that our individual needs to fulfill selfish interests result in societal benefit. So this is just as mere explanation. Okay, if we have I have got an individual need, so in order to fulfill that individual need, I will make certain self-interest. I have certain self-interest, and with that self-interest, I will work further to achieve that goal, and ultimately that individual need backed with self-interest will give a greater benefits to the society. So look, I can cite a very important example in this 21st century, like Mark Zuckerberg created a Facebook, but he has its individual need, and it was backed by self-interest. Okay, he could earn so much of money because he had his interest, but after few years, gradually transforming, each and every country's population use Facebook. You and I have own Facebook accounts and we use it, but it can be used as a societal benefit. The different millions people are using Facebook, and in that we get benefit of that Facebook. Okay, so wealth of nation is the same thing, that it is backed with like certain individual needs and with the self-interest, and ultimately it provides a benefit for the society. And in simple words, political economy is the study of political aspects of economy policy making, political aspects of economic policy making, and also the economic aspects of political policy making. It's very simple. This political economy studies about political aspect of economic policy making. It's a short form. And also this political economy studies about economic aspects of political policy making. So you need to be clear with these two aspects, and you need to write these 2 points, first one and second one. Okay, so moving further, political economy involves interdisciplinary studies drawing upon economics, law, political science in explaining how political institution, political environment, and political relations and economic system influence and interact with each other. So interdisciplinary means when you will go pursue for your postgraduate studies, you will get an opportunity to study different subjects at a period of time, and that is interdisciplinary. And in 21st century, interdisciplinary studies have been evolved like a new phenomenon. Okay, because in the same way that political economy, economy is totally considered as economic subject, and political is totally about politics. So merging with these two subjects like politics and economy, we'll get a larger domain of political economy. So not just economy, okay, we can relate it in terms of law, and study about political institutions, study about political environment, and so on and so forth. Okay, so political economy deals or studies with these kinds of aspects. So I have pointed out your political institution, political environment, and political relations. So I want to make clear about what is political institution. Institution means the organization in which a government that creates, enforces, and applies law. Legislative, executives, and judiciary. It's very simple. This is the form of democracy. In democracy, we can find legislative, executive, and judiciary. But basically, I can give you an example is that monarchy is also an institution, and it also creates, enforces, and applies law. Similarly, monarchy means the king rules that particular state. Okay, example, Bhutan, United Kingdom. So authoritarianism, there will be one person and a group of person ruling that particular state. Okay, and totalitarian means it will be ruled by one singular person. So these kind of things. Democracy is like India is under democratic rule. So more authoritarianism and totalitarianism we will be studying in class 12 in a detail. It's about its features, its merits and demerits. So without further ado, I have a time constraint to maintain and in this particular framework, so I'll not explain these kind of things in deep, but I will just make you understand later on in a definition way. Okay, now let's understand political economy. Political environment refers to the factor outside the company related to the government or public affairs of the country influencing companies. Example, I can just make you clear with this example. The policies made by the government have a significant impact on any company in international market. So you have heard about Notbandi demonetization. So Narendra Modi's government said that black money, like he wants to flush out black money. There are so much of hidden money are in many banks across the world. So within a short time framework, like within 1 or 2 days, is that 500 rupees note, 1000 rupees notes, where like it was called banned. It was banned in India. So immediately international market also had influence, because if India is like emerging country, okay, India is an emerging country, and if that 500 rupees notes and 1000 rupee notes are null and void, so it says that from today onwards this particular notes are banned. So then what happened? It is a policy of Narendra Modi's government, and it had a larger impact in the international market. So I want you to write about demonetization in this point, okay? So I want you to explain how this demonetization influenced international markets, okay? So moving forward, let's understand what is political relation. Political relation is a social relation involving particularly to gain authority or power. Means every country maintains its political relation with different countries in order to get authority or a power in certain sections, okay? Like China, USA, India are like they have a political relation with different countries, but for what? Just to gain for authority over a particular area. It can be in terms of trade, it can be in terms of military, it can be in terms of being a global power, etc. Now ultimately this political economy studies like three important things, okay? Political economy tries to understand or seeks to study the role of government or a power relation in resource allocation in every economic system. Look, the role of government, it understands the role of government to for what? For maintaining power relation and resource allocation in every economic system. Resource allocation means like every country needs a raw material, every country needs a resource. Human beings are all human being of that particular country is also as a, we can consider it as a resource. Without humans, the workforce will be empty and no productive things will be produced. So not just maintaining for power relation, but it studies the role of government also, role of government by how this allocation of resources are done in an economic system. Second is to study the role of economic factors and interaction among nations and the world. So role of economic factors, so so many important things are happening around the world and globe, the interactions among the different nations in the world. So in this pandemic, what happened was India was caught short in the second wave of COVID-19. India was caught short of the vaccination, so various nations like Britain came forward, so many other Russia also came forward to provide vaccinations to the India. So this is how India buy that vaccination from that particular country. So this is how the political economy also tries to understand not just the economic factors but interactions among the nation, that how which nation will help which nation and how are they maintaining their political relations in the contemporary times, that the issues they are facing. And the economic models of political process. So economic model of political process, it seeks to understand this kind of things, viable three important things. Moving forward, there is no much scope, but everything is related under the scope. The study of political science cannot be complete without the study of political economy. Why? Because because it always talks about political economy, always talks about the relation in and international interactions between politics as well as economics, and in terms of understanding policy making and different compulsion of state economy, etc. And not only just this one, it talks about fiscal policy, it talks about planning, it talks about budget, yearly budget and annual budget, etc. In India also we have a yearly budget session. In Sikkim also had the budget session where there will be discussion regarding what amount of money should be distributed among different institutions or different departments of the government that they are holding. Not just that one, it talks about import and export regimes of different countries, etc. And it totally discusses about or studies about the nature of issues of international economic relations. So we have already completed international relation, public administration, and political science, political economy, and comparative politics. So these are interrelated things. Okay, so political economy studies the various socio-political economic changes on the production and distribution of economic system. It's totally about demand and supply. So political economy talks about various socio-political and economic changes. What are the changes in social, what are the social demands, what are political demands, what are economic demands of that particular country in the production and distribution of certain things. Okay, we talk about demands and supply in that particular area of what is to be benefited, what should be given to the public, and it discusses this one, and the policies are made accordingly. So I like to sum up the whole thing in just 3 lines, that political science has been continuous and to be dynamic, and it is continuously evolving subject. Okay, and it is totally devoted to the study of man as a political man, which is engaged in the process of governing himself for betterment. Okay, we cannot we are not animals, and we need certain rules and regulations to be followed, and we have our leaders that we govern, and the leaders that frame certain rules and regulation laws. We need to follow that rule. That's why political science is just the study of a man as a political man. Okay, political man which is engaged in governing himself. So I have completed the scope of political science. So kindly start doing your question answers from page number A28 and 26 and 27. So I'll also tell you what are the important things in WhatsApp directly only. Till then, stay safe and take care.